Good day traders, this is Stefanos on behalf of Tixee, and in today's video we'll be giving an outlook for the market for the week of 24th until the 28th of January. Before we get started, please note that all of the ideas discussed in this webinar are my own opinions and do not make up for any form of investment or trading advice, neither any recommendations to buy or sell. You should always do your own research and due diligence before buying or selling any securities, financial products, or instruments, and whether you use any kind of trading strategies. Any information that relates to past performance is not indicative of future results. As we mentioned in the previous look back video, and by the way, in case you missed any of the look backs or previous outlooks, you can always head over to the Tixee's YouTube channel where you find there the library of the previous videos. So in the previous look back, we mentioned that in the week ahead, it's definitely one to watch out for as far as stocks and the current Q4 earnings season. This week, we'll be having, obviously, this week starting the 24th. We'll be having Apple, Microsoft, as well as Tesla, all of them reporting their figures. Therefore, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how the market reacts depending on the figures that they release. All of them are, we can say, giants with regards to their respective industries. So definitely events to be looking out for. Last week, we also saw how Netflix fell by as much as 20%. If I'll just pull up the chart, you can see this quite large candlestick, the red candlestick here, bring the price levels back to the 2020 period. As I mentioned, the prices fell by as much as 20% after its subscribers figure showed a slowdown. And a 20% drop is by no means a minor drop, especially for a company the size of Netflix. It's also, the general idea is that when a company falls 20% off the highs in this case being roundabout here, it's thought to be that the asset is entering bear market territory. So in one basically day or week, it fell by 20%, so it's by no means a minor drop. Additionally, for Microsoft, something worth pointing out is that they also recently acquired Activision, which is a giant with regards to the gaming industry. They acquired Activision for almost 69 billion. So aside from the earnings report, this is also a news headline that could act as a price driver next week, and we can clearly see how Microsoft is, tapping further into the gaming industry. So yeah, just to reiterate, we'll have Microsoft on Tuesday reporting their numbers, then followed by Tesla on Wednesday, and then Apple on Thursday. Now, moving forward to the Forex front, it is also looking out to be an eventful week. We'll be having the manufacturing data coming out of the UK and kicking things off on Monday. However, the important piece of events are coming out later during the week, which is the interest rate decisions, both from the Bank of Canada, with expectation of the rate rising to 0.5%, as well as the FOMC meeting being the most important one on Wednesday. Let's also not forget the fact that after the rate figure is announced, it is followed by the press conference, which can also introduce further volatility in the market. Again, all these kind of events, in case you're not aware, you can always find them from WIPs directly from Tixee's website. Just navigating here to the Educational Research tab and then clicking on the economic calendar. Just waiting for the page to load. And you can obviously use all of the filters here, and you can just readjust the data according to your own preference. So in our case, we're just looking at next week, and something that I always like doing is switching to the high importance figures only. And if I scroll down to, you can see Wednesday is when we're going to be having both of the interest rate decisions, which is going to be for Canada and the US. So all of the major currencies are definitely going to be the ones to be looking out for with regards to volatility and how they react to these pieces of data. Now, aside from the interest rate decisions, we'll also have the GDP figures for the US coming out on Thursday. We can see it here. and then it's going to be followed by the EU's GDP figures coming out on Friday. The one to watch out for being the one of Germany, as it's the Eurozone's largest economy, but also we have Spain and France also reporting their numbers. So yeah, these are mainly the events I'll be personally watching out for next week, as they're all, they have a high probability of causing some volatility in the markets. And you can also use this little piece of information that you can find on the economic calendar, which basically gives you an idea with regards to how the market can move after a type of event is released. In the case of the Fed interest rate decision, we can see that there was a measurement of a 70.64 pips volatility in the 4 hours after the last event. For the euro dollar, we can see it's quite a number of pips that can obviously provide a number of opportunities if the interest rate decision is something that you'll be looking to trade. So yeah, this in regards to the Forex front. Then we're going to be moving on to oil. Now if I'll just pull up the chart for oil here as well. So we can see oil, if I'll just keep it on the weekly time frame. Let me just zoom in a little bit. So we can see that oil has enjoyed quite a substantial rally in the past couple of weeks. We had a 5 consecutive week rally. We can see how further above the 21 period EMA it's sitting currently. The RSI is also at the 65 level, which is also above the 50 midpoint level of the RSI. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how the market will react next week, seeing as how we're also sitting at this resistance point right here. We can see back in October 2021 how strongly the prices fell after reaching around about the 85 point mark. And we can now see essentially how the prices last week, they pushed above the 85 level, and then we're closing back down almost right on the 85 on the dot. And seeing as how we're sitting way above the moving average, it will be definitely interesting to see how prices will be moving next week. And let's also not forget the factor of the unknown, being, for example, last week we had 2 deadly airstrikes at the beginning of the week, and we saw how that drove how it impacted oil prices. So without knowing obviously what can happen, oil is definitely one of the commodities to watch out for. And speaking of commodities, obviously the other one is gold. And if I just pull up the chart, so the events to look out for gold is obviously going to be the ones that are going to be directly impacting the dollar, namely the interest rate decision as well as the GDP data. For those that are not already aware, the gold and dollar tend to have a pretty inverse relationship, meaning when the dollar goes higher, we can expect the gold to move lower and vice versa. So all of these data next week is definitely going to be likely causing some volatility with regards to gold. And again, it will be interesting to see how the market and the prices move, seeing as how we're sitting in this range now. So you can see the prices drop from this range, from this price level, which was the 1867, and how we have this area of support holding, which is round about the 1750 mark, and we're just trading round about at the midpoint. Now lastly, we're gonna be looking into crypto. Now Bitcoin, let me just pull up the chart so you can have a look at it as well. We can see that it's continuing its strong decline. It's now sitting well below the $40,000 mark and now trading around the mid 30 levels, currently sitting at 36,300. So last time when we covered Bitcoin specifically, let's just wait for the chart to load. I'll just switch to the daily. So we can see Bitcoin, I'll just remove for now the moving averages. Now we can see it's sitting at 36,360, and when the last time we covered Bitcoin specifically, we mentioned this key area right here. Now these type of areas, when the price is close to them, they tend to act like magnets, meaning that prices could potentially reach this area here and depending on when and if the price reaches this area, it's going to be very interesting to see how the market will react, because it's essentially like a price floor right now. So if it breaks below, it could just move even further lower to these levels. If not, it's going to be moving back up higher, and going to be interesting to see if it will be retesting the highs up here as well. The RSI currently is sitting well below the 50 level mark, and it's now at the 37.7. So we'll see whether it still has some room to move further lower, or whether we'll be seeing some buying pressure and a potential move back up to the highs. So yeah, and it's a wrap for today's outlook video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I wish you all a safe trading week ahead. Until next time, take care.